You know what was super duper duper not on my bingo card for this year?
What, Shane?
Having to call the police because of a suspected home invasion.
Me either. Me either. But you know what? This year has been, a lot.
This year has been
for a lot of reasons.
The year of unexpected surprises.
And that was one of them.
It was. You know what's super duper 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 not fun?
Calling the police for a suspected home invasion, I'm gonna guess?
Yep. Alright, let's tell them what happened.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
It's time
To talk
about
our lives.
Welcome back to Vlogmas Day 2.
Day 2, we're doing it, guys.
We are at, 2 out of 2. So,
Day 2. If we quit here,
no,
so be it.
no, we're not quitting. We're gonna do all 25 days.
We did have a moment this morning where we were like, so we gotta get a video done.
Well, Vlogmas is off to a rough start because we had a doctor's appointment today at 6 a.m.
Yeah, we had to wake
So
up at 5.
we had to wake up at 5.
Which is super
We don't do well waking up at 5. 5 is early. Like, that's almost 4:55. That is really early.
That's almost 4:55.
And apologies to anyone who routinely has to wake up at 5, but oh my god, we are sluggish today.
Yeah,
But we're going to tell you
through.
this story. This is...
You know what I just noticed?
What?
We're wearing Christmas colors.
Oh, we are.
Not on purpose.
We did. Yeah, we've been wearing this all day.
It's on purpose.
So-
It's on purpose.
Yeah,
We meant to do it.
For every day of Vlogmas, we vow to wear Christmas colors only.
Okay, so the story of why we had to call the police begins right now.
Yes, it does. Okay, getting serious.
This happened a few months ago.
Yes, it did.
I awake here in Minnesota.
I awake? You mean you awoken?
I awakened? I awoke?
You woke up?
I woke up.
I awake is 100% not.
I said I awake.
You said I awake?
Didn't I say awakened?
No!
I awake. Oh boy.
You said I awake. Like I is awake.
Why don't you tell the story?
We woke up and there was a text on Shane's phone.
Yeah, and the text message was from one of our neighbors in LA, which is odd. A, that, she's texting me, and B, that she's texting very early in the morning.
It was like 6 a.m. their time, which is just odd.
Yeah, so I obviously opened it right away. And it's a video, and then a text below it. And it says, "Hey Shane, my security camera that is on the front of my house and faces your house just captured this clip of a man in a black jumpsuit walking past your house and then turning and entering your backyard and disappearing behind your house. I have not yet seen him exit your property,
Yeah.
and my camera hasn't seen him either. Just wanted to let you know."
So we are like, that's disturbing.
The clip that she sent of the camera, so disturbing.
Yeah, the guy, he was walking along the sidewalk, kind of aimlessly. He's carrying something, but you can't tell what it is in the video, something small. And he walks kind of past our driveway a little and then turns around and walks very quickly up our driveway.
Yeah, it was super diligent.
Like just a very big change of pace.
And our backyard is fully gated, so he had to open up a gate to do anything about there.
You can see him he opens the gate and he goes in, and then once you're inside, it's just tall fences all around. There's nowhere to go.
There's no escaping other than the gate.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously like, oh, that's really weird.
Yeah.
And I go to my security cameras
Yep.
from our house, and I look in the backyard. Sure enough, there's a video there of this man opening the gate, walking in the yard, walking around our pool, while looking at our house.
Yeah, he just keeps looking at the windows to see, I guess, if anyone will see him.
And then disappearing out of frame.
Yeah.
And that was so creepy.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, what's he doing over there?
Yeah.
Out of view of the camera.
There's nowhere to go.
At this point, our security system had not alerted me that a window had been broken or opened, anything like that. But obviously, I'm like, okay, well, he can't get out of the yard, so he's just back there.
Yeah, why is he in our yard?
Doing what?
And we were also concerned that he would go under the house in the crawl space, because if he's not in the yard and he didn't come out the gate, the other option is that he either climbed over the fence, which would be very difficult, and he was holding something. So he would have had to abandon what he was carrying to pull himself over, and then there would be no way to get it.
He would have had to be a ninja.
Yeah, so
to get over those fences in the back.
We were concerned he was under the house, and our neighbor, in these text back and forth exchanges, she was like, you need to be really cautious about him being a squatter, because in LA, it is very difficult to get rid of a squatter. And I was like Googling this while we were dealing with this problem, like a little after I Googled it. And it's true, like you have to give them eviction papers, and if they don't leave, you have to serve them with like court papers and take them to court. Like you can't just be like, get out, you know? So we were concerned that this man had taken up residence somewhere in our property.
So I'm like freaking out, and like thankfully the house is empty.
Yeah.
This was before we moved there.
There's nothing.
So like, even if you did break in, there's something to steal.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea that like you might be living under the house or like in the house somehow really freaked me out. So 8 a.m. on this very weird morning, I call the LA police, the non-emergency line, because I was like, we debated it. We were like,
it's not an emergency. It's really not. Like it was like the sheriff's department. We called whatever the non-emergency is. But it was our first time ever calling a non-emergency police line, and they were very, like, it felt like we called the emergency police.
It felt like, it was like it was 911.
They were very prompt.
On top of it.
Asked us all these questions, and then they showed up at the house, like, maybe 15 minutes later, max.
I was super impressed.
Yeah.
Because, with, like, a city the size of LA, I expected them to be like,
we'll get there tomorrow.
A man in your yard, like, okay. Just ask him to leave,
Yeah, right?
But they took it very seriously.
Yeah.
And they sent like 5 top towers there.
Yeah. And the main reason we did call the police was to establish a precedent that is our property, and that we don't want, like, that we're not giving our permission for someone to live there. That was honestly the main reason, because we were like, I mean, we're not there. There's not much to harm. Like, we don't want him there, but like, we really need to show that he is not, like, we didn't see him there and say, that's okay, because that would establish the precedent that, like, we are okay with him being there.
And we were like, he didn't look threatening, there's no indication that he was trying to break into the house.
Yeah.
But, like, we just don't really want someone in our backyard that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So the cops go and they look around. I'm watching them on the camera, and they call me back, and they're like, yeah, we're in your yard. We don't see anyone.
He's not here.
He's not here. Like, there is nowhere that he could be.
Yeah.
He's not in the house. Like, every window is closed and locked. So
we're like, hope he's not under the house.
They were like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, like, you have the video.
Well, our neighbors were all outside talking to them, too. Like, it wasn't like they didn't believe us.
Yeah,
because our neighbor who had sent the video and our next door, like, everyone was aware of this situation.
It was a hullabaloo when 5 police cars showed up at our house.
So this kind of went unresolved for a while.
And I hate that.
Yeah, like, poor Shane was like, I'm never going back to LA. I'm not going there. I don't want to be there.
I was like, there should be a man living under our house.
So this went unresolved. We finally get to LA. This was only like maybe 2 weeks later, so we thought the man might still be under the house.
Oh wait, before we went back though, that day.
Oh right.
Charisma had been getting our mail, so we texted her right away like, hey, just so you know, this is happening.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about the mail.
Yeah, like, don't go to the house. Like, there might be a man in the area.
And later that day, I see on our security camera, Charisma going into our house. And then going in the backyard, like, looking around.
She got our warning text and was like, no, I'm going to go check it out.
So I told her, I was like, what are you doing? She was like, I have my mace, don't worry. Like, I was like, oh,
but then we felt a bit better, because we were like, well, she definitely looked.
Yeah, she looked, like, thoroughly around.
He is not there.
He's not there, unless he's under the house.
Unless he's under the house.
So we go back. I'm terrified that there's a man under the house.
And on our first night.
Oh, right.
We go to bed. The house is very quiet, and in the middle of the night, Shane insists that he heard snoring.
I did, I swear.
And it was definitely our dog. It was definitely, he heard Chloe breathing in the other room.
I don't think it was that. I think she might be under our house still.
He's not under the house.
No, since then, for other reasons, someone went under our house.
Yeah, like that we wanted to check our pipes.
Something. But they let them know, like, no, there's no man. There's no man living
Us
over
telling
there.
everyone that there might be a man, we're just like, just so you know, maybe be careful.
When you go into the house, just look out for people.
But anyway, this finally has a resolution. Maybe a month after this, like we had forgotten about this man. We're chatting with our next door neighbor, and they say that they are fixing their fence. Just like a heads up, we're gonna have fence people here. You know, it might be noisy. Sorry about that. You know, that's all it was. And then she mentions in passing that the reason they're fixing their fence is because the trespasser destroyed it. And we were like, wait a second, what happened?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, after he left your yard, which was not caught on the cameras, it was probably too quick for like the cameras to pick up. No one caught it.
He must have jumped into their yard.
He jumped over our fence that we share with them into their yard, couldn't get out, and broke down their fence to get out into like the alley.
He had to be on something.
Yes.
Because the logic of like everything that he did made no sense.
Because to get to that alley, he could have just walked around the back, but go around the street. It's not blocked. Like
much easier ways
through
to get
the
to that
fences
alley.
is not that. So yeah, he was definitely just trying to get somewhere and did not think about the alternate routes. But
so it was a fun little
our poor neighbor's fence.
introduction to LA.
Yeah.
For a minute, I was seriously like, and I don't want to live somewhere where people are, you know, crawling under our house.
Shane has real trauma about people entering his house
I do.
against their will because that happened to him. So it's not okay.
Yeah.
But it ended up being that we don't think he's, you know, a recurrent threat.
And the next thing was that our neighbors all assured us, like, this has never happened before.
Yeah.
This is not a neighborhood where, like, that is a thing.
Yeah, they've all lived there for, like, 30, 40. Like, we've met people who literally have lived there for 45 years. And they're like, we've never had a trespasser. So no worries. It will be okay. But that was quite a kickoff start to our time there.
It was. And I don't ever want to have to call the police.
I know.
Again, it's not fun. It makes my heart race.
Yeah.
Really elevates my stress.
I know.
But that's what happened.
Oh my God.
The suspected trespasser, or no, he was a trespasser.
Yeah.
The suspected home invader.
He was not a home invader.
All right, everyone. Vlogmas Day 2.
Check.
In the bag.
Yep. See you tomorrow.
Maybe.
No.